Hello trainers and welcome to the making of the thumbnail for Blissey. This one, it was pretty straightforward. It only took me about a half hour to make. The first rough draft for this thumbnail I think was the funniest thing ever. I have it as a exclusive on my subscription sites. It basically I had to try to make them look not like a Mrs. Potato Head, basically. Because Blissey is very, very round as the eggs she carries, and so to try to make it look a little more charming was it took another try, because I tried a face-on approach, and yeah, it just looked like a funny eggy alien. So I went with this more 3/4 turn with the hugging of the egg kind of squishing up against her. The episode featured Blissey offering the egg kind of like an aphrodisiac, because according to the Pokedex, when you consume the egg, you are filled with joy and bliss. And so I wanted the egg to definitely be a emphasized part of the thumbnail. So I started with the face, as usual, because I like to start with the most forward, and then doing all of the outlined. I did a mix of hand-drawn and lines. The tighter the curl is, or the more extended that the curl is, I tend to try to hand-draw. But if it's a big, swooping curl, like those top far loops, I use the line tool, because if I use the line tool for the tight ones, it starts getting too angular. You start getting little points of where the line meets up sometimes. I can typically clean them up a bit, but rather than making more work, I just try to use a steady hand, because I use mouse and keyboard whenever I am doing my art. I don't use a draw pad or anything like that. I hand draw the sketch, but once it's on the computer, I'm just more used to using mouse. I grew up as a penny poor artist, so I just learned to make do with what I had, which was the mouse, and so now it's just mainly what I'm used to. Maybe someday I'll learn to use a tablet and be one of the fancy people, or I guess one of the more modern people. It's not really that fancy anymore, but eh. So working on the skirt and the feathers, I guess you would call it the winglets, and the outline of the eggy. The winglets I initially had drawn a little sharper, but I smoothed it out. Blissey just overall is very smooth Pokemon. Also with the pouch down there, I had a little bit of a bulge accent line, because the egg is being pulled out, but it's not fully pulled out. Wow, those are some interesting words strung together. Now blocking in the color, using my Ditto Pink. It's kind of funny with Blissey already being pink. I basically just made it a more deeper pink. It's kind of entertaining when some of the Pokemon are like already pink or have super pink features. It's like I just make it more of a darker pink. I think the one Pokemon that happened to already be my Ditto Pink was Skitty. So it just kind of looked like a normal Skitty aside from the eyes, which is honestly a small part, but still a part of why I have my own unique original character eyes in case of those situations. Mostly though, it's for the Ditto trope of the Ditto that transforms, but the eyes are a little off. But mine just happen to have little fancy winglets. So using the big brush to cover the big bulk of the color, and then the smaller brush to get into all the little nooks and crannies. They're typically two separate things for me. And then remembering the winglets skirt that extends over there. And I think I'm about to do the big eggy. There's a lot of interruptions during there's the egg that is a slightly more creamy color. There's a lot of interruptions and I think distractions when I was making this, so while the process itself was only about a half hour in total, the video was about 15 minutes longer, so I cut out a lot of just still moments. So working on the background now, I tried playing around with the gradients, but honestly, the Blissey takes up so much of the front already. I didn't really want a busy background, so I'm going back and forth with the gradients, but eventually I just go with the solid color, the common Blissey color, because, I don't know, I just feel it's more aesthetically pleasing to have Blissey be the main focus of everything. I'm getting my DDD logo in there, getting the numbers in there. I do use the method I learned back with the Arbok episode of using a secondary color to kind of outline the number. Still using the original colors of the Pokemon, but makes it a lot more legible and a bit more pleasing. I don't use it on all of the thumbnails beyond this point, but I do use it here and there where it makes sense. And then just starting to slap on that shine everywhere. The shine is always my last step because it's partially because it's my favorite step, but also because it's the one that I put on top of everything, so I wait to make sure I have all my details done, I have everything good to go. And there is like on the tippy top of the egg, there's like a little curl bump that doesn't have a shine right now, but near the end I go back and put it on because I just hyper shine everything because she's still kind of a slime girl. And again, Blissey is so round, so smooth, absolutely everywhere. I just go shine crazy. It's just everything is glistening. I didn't put it on the white bits though because it's kind of hard to shine. For that, I would have probably wanted to have a slightly grayer or a slightly more creamy white for that bit, and then use the more pure white to use the shine. But I think it turned out sweet. So yeah, I used a mostly translucent white, and then using a mostly translucent eraser to feather it out to get that gradient. And I think this is where I was looking over it, and then I noticed that teeny tiny bump there. It's like, oh, I'm putting more shine on the undercarriage of the pouch. Yeah, I was setting up for the thumbnail, for the making of the thumbnail there, because I put those close to the thumbnail and then take a screenshot and just slap some text, and then that's how you make the thumbnail for the video about the thumbnail. But overall, it was simple, straightforward, and I think it looks just cute as hell. Thank you for checking out my video. Please check out my other works. There is a link to the episode that this thumbnail was made for, and you can check out my link tree for all my other little links, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.